This is my presentation on Search and Seizure, created by Alice Glendenning. Search and seizure, the Fourth Amendment to the United States Constitution provides protection of all citizens against unreasonable search and seizure. This amendment provides in part that the right of people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause. So this is basically, stating that you cannot search anything without a warrant or a probable cause, or in schools you have to have a reasonable suspicion. School items where we are presumed to search at school for students are in their student desk, lockers, book bags, the student themselves, or in cars. You must have reasonable suspicion in order to do this. Lockers and desks are considered school property. Therefore, school personnel are granted a larger latitude in searching them than they are in searching a student's person or belongings. Searches and seizures must be reasonable, one that clearly does not violate the constitutional rights of the students, which was stated in slide 2. Reasonable suspicion can be based on information received from students or teachers that are considered reliable. School personnel should have reasonable grounds to believe a search of a particular student is necessary to provide proof that the student has violated a particular policy, rule, or law. The scope of the search must be limited to the student at hand, and there should be individualized suspicion, not like the whole group, but one particular student. Now, I'd like to add into this a personal experience. We had an 8th grade student who, at the beginning of the year, had brought his ADHD medicine to school and had offered it to 3 different boys, which took it and eventually ended up sick. One of them even had to go to the emergency room. So in the fall, this particular 8th grade boy that had offered his ADHD medicine was suspended from school for 5 days. Then, this spring now, the same boy was accused of having his medicine at school once again. There were some students that had told one of the custodians, who had told the principal. When the 8th grade boy was brought into the principal's office with his mother was called also, the 8th grade boy claimed that these students knew that he had done it in the past and were out to get him, which who can prove that for sure? So the principal did ask his mother if it was all right if the 8th grade student emptied his pockets and, just to verify that he did not have anything on him. And the 8th grade student was very willing, because he was adamant about not bringing anything to school. So he began emptying his pockets. Well, lo and behold, he had on a pair of sweatpants over a pair of shorts, and in the pocket of his shorts he had a pocket knife, which is also against our school rules to carry any kind of a knife, i.e. weapon, in school. So he did not get out of school suspension for having any kind of meds on him, but he did get out of school suspension for the pocket knife that was in his pocket. So, and the mother was right there and totally agreed that, that should not have been brought to school. And the young man once again claimed that, oh my goodness, he had forgot it was there. But, so I guess my point of telling this story is the fact that maybe on that information received from students or teachers that are considered reliable, those students typically were considered reliable, but, you know, were they just kind of out to get the young man, or did they really think that he had some of his meds on him, or was it just kind of past practice, what they had thought? So we have to be careful for that. And then on the school personnel should have reasonable grounds to believe the search of the student was necessary. Well, he'd done it before, so you wouldn't put it past him to do it again. But as I said, our principal did have the mom come in too, and there weren't meds that time, but there was a pocket knife. So just a lesson on learning. Okay, next slide. Student desk. Student desks are subject to search if the standard of reasonableness is met. Student desks cannot be searched on a hunch, and if there's a reliable information that leads to school rules being broken or threatens the health and safety of students, a desk may be searched. I think the key word there is that it just can't be a hunch. If there's a standard of reasonableness, once again, you know, if there has been some indicator of something in the desk, then it should be checked into. On student lockers, the same standard of reasonableness as with desks. The student should be notified lockers can be searched if reasonable suspicion is established. If this becomes necessary, the student and at least one other school official should be present. The student may have one other student if requested. That one kind of surprised me when I read that a student could have another student with them if they wanted. In no cases except extreme emergencies such as a bomb threat should an indiscriminate search be completed. Book bags or purses. Searches involving book bags are extremely complex due to the intrusive nature of the search itself. It did tell us in our book of A Teacher's Pocket Guide to School Law, the 2nd edition, in 1994, a New Jersey case, Desolates versus Clearview Regional Board of Education. In regards to searching students' handbags, it was justified because the students and parents were informed beforehand that a search would be conducted. This was an outing, a school outing, and the parents had been notified, you know, that their students' bags would be searched, and that the parent would, or that it could prevent a student from taking contraband. It would prohibit a student from taking contraband on field trips. So this decision was supported by evidence that the students and parents were informed beforehand, and that the search would be conducted. So that would be a safeguard to have. Automobiles. School officials may search student automobiles parked on school property if the standard of reasonable suspicion are met. And students and parents should be informed by school or district policy that automobiles are subject to reasonable search if there's a legitimate basis for the search. If the student's automobile is parked on non-school property, probable cause must be established, and law enforcement officials are required to present a warrant prior to the search. Parents should be informed of an impending search to allow them opportunity to take whatever steps they think are necessary in this situation. If illegal items such as drugs or weapons are found, they are admissible in court. On the personal searches should be avoided except where imminent danger exists. Such searches can be justified only in extreme emergencies where there's a threat to students or school personnel, health, and safety. School authorities should be certain that their actions are justified, and school personnel should conduct the search in a private setting. That was, to prevent extreme embarrassment to the student if it's done in front of kids. A pat-down search must be done by an official of the same gender with an adult witness of the same gender present. Arbitrary searches or mass shakedowns cannot be justified as reasonable and are illegal, and care should be taken to minimize embarrassment to the student. The mass shakedowns, that would be something that might be used if there was suspicion that something had been taken, and maybe what I had envisioned was something had been taken off the teacher's desk, and so the teacher decided to search every student to see if she could find out who had it. That would be illegal, and it would not be justified as reasonable. In our district, we have what's called a lock-in, which means all outside doors and classroom doors are locked, but teaching may continue as usual. That's opposed to the lockdown, when we are all, the lights are off and we are all in a lockdown mode, very quiet in case of an intruder in our building. But during the lock-in, students are not allowed to exit the classroom, and it's during a time that school officials may take a student to their locker for a search in private, and also public areas of the school may have been searched, or non-public areas such as behind the bathroom walls. There was a small latch door that led to the plumbing between the two bathrooms, the girls' and the boys' bathroom, and a young man had discovered this door and had been hiding some of his grass, I guess, in there, and there was suspicion that it was there. So first they searched the bathroom between the walls and found some of this, and then went on to other measures to, because of a reasonable suspicion, checked with the student, and sure enough it was his, and that's where he had been keeping it during school hours, in the bathroom walls. Our district also has a drug dog that can show up unannounced at any time during the school day. The drug dog is escorted by his trainer, a police officer, and if the drug dog makes a hit, they get the owner to come out, and with permission they search the car. This has been done and used in court successfully to a student this year at the high school. The dog also hit on a gun in a car, and when the student came out, they discovered that the student's father had been using his pickup during the hunting season and had put the gun behind the seat and had forgotten to take it out. So this was discovered after parents were notified of the hit, and I don't actually know how that one ended up. I know that it seemed kind of humorous, being in a small town where a lot of people do hunt, and it did sound like a legitimate reason for the gun being there, knowing the family, and knowing that it was hunting season. So I don't know how that ended up, to be totally honest with you. But the young man whose car was hit with because of marijuana, that was used in court, and everything was done legally and properly. So I feel grateful to be taking this class of school law. There's so many items that I just take for granted that go on behind the scenes. I realize I will be delving more into these laws as I need them, but at least it will ring a bell when something happens that I know I need to find a resource for. Thank you. Have a great day.